Welcome to Use and Abuse of Music Podcast, but this is our YouTube video. This is our YouTube video instead of a podcast video. And as always, I'm Scott.
I'm Kim.
We are going to get better at doing some of these openings that we need to do. And this time, we are coming at you with our hashtag 50 album challenge.
Put out by Frank from channel 33 RPM back on March 31st.
Yes, Frank from channel 33 did a video called Rediscovering Your Music, and he put it out there, hey, let's do the hashtag 50 album challenge. Frank also chose vinyls. We are going to call this the vinyl edition. Now, the reason why we're calling ours the vinyl edition because I mean, if you can kind of see, if I can get it right, my hand's not going right.
Yeah, if you can
right
see.
Right there, that is a crate of cassettes.
And then vinyl.
What you can't see is over here, off camera, to the left of me, and that's this direction, is
CDs.
Our CD books that have all of our CDs in them. So we're going to do a 50 album challenge. Now, we're not going to do 50 albums Kim, 50 albums Scott. We're going to do 25 each. And just same thing when we go to the CDs, we'll do 25 each. And if we decide to do the 50 album challenge cassette version, we'll go 50 each, or 25 each. But again, this is about rediscovering your music. And the reason why we want to rediscover music is because a lot of times, most of us, and I think everyone out there can agree with this, you have those specific albums you just go to all the time. Now, the whole idea of the challenge was to listen to stuff you hadn't listened to like 2 years or more. That was what Frank did. Now, I picked some stuff that, even though I might have listened to it on Apple Music lately, streaming, or on Spotify streaming, I picked albums, some of my albums I picked, I have not listened to either one. I've never listened to it on LP or vinyl, or last time I listened to it was on CD. And it might have been 10 years ago. Mainly because I really don't play a lot of CD. I mean, we put CDs into the disc drive and spin them up into iTunes, and that's where they go.
That's where they go, and that's where they stay.
And then they get, I originally put all my stuff in books back in the early 90s, mid 90s to take them with me in the vehicle. But we do have crates. We actually have a couple totes that are getting filled up with CD jewel cases with CDs still in them.
Yes.
That have been put onto iTunes, where we have access to them through Apple Music.
Yes.
So, we're going to do this 50 album challenge. 25 vinyl records for me. 25 vinyl records for Kim. We're just going to talk a little bit about the album. If we've ever heard it. And we're going to kind of go through this. So, we'll see how long this makes. Pretty much, she's going to give you her first 5. I'll give you 5. Back and forth until we get through total 50 albums.
Yes.
All right, Kim, what do you got first?
Okay, so my first album is actually a singer that I actually like.
Say what it is.
Her name's Tanya. Her name's Tammy Wynette.
Okay, and what's the album called?
The album's called Tammy's Greatest Hits.
Okay.
I have not listened to this in a while. There's one particular song on here that I really like from her, and I just wanted to check it out and see how it sounds, since it's been a while since I've listened to her. Okay, this next one, I actually grew up on it. My mom actually has this one, and this is called Sergeant Barry's Sadler's Green Beret.
So. It's more likely Staff Sergeant, because SS Sergeant.
Yeah, Staff Sergeant Barry.
Ballads of the Green Berets.
Yep. This next one is another one. It's the Carpenters. I also grew up on. Liked their music too.
What's the name of the album? Close to You.
Close to You. This next one is another one of my favorite groups. It's the Beach Boys USA album.
Made in the USA.
Made in the USA album.
It's actually a double record.
It is. So.
I actually first owned this on cassette.
And the last one is Barbra Streisand, Color Me Barbara. I like her as a singer, and I just wanted to try one of her musics.
One of her albums.
One of her albums.
All right. First up for me, is an album I've only heard on cassette. Sheena Easton, I can't even see it now. A Private Heaven. I've heard this once on cassette. I would definitely can't wait to hear it on LP. Those of you that listen to Use and Abuse, last year I did an episode on the Rat EP, which is over there on vinyl. When I originally owned it, I owned it on CD, but I do have the vinyl of that. However, because I haven't heard this one in a long time on vinyl, I actually bought this originally back in the 80s. This is Rat, Out of the Cellar. Their debut full-length album, but for us Rat fans, we call it their second album. Another band I grew up on in the 70s with 8 tracks my parents had was Casey and Sunshine Band. Can't wait to give this a spin and listen to it on LP. Now this next guy, Kenny Rogers. It's an album called Love Will Turn You Around. As you can see right here, it's got the hype sticker on there for the movie Six Pack. And actually, Six Pack had Diane Lane, Kenny Rogers, and Anthony Michael Hall in it. But it was a really cute little movie about racing. I remember that one back in the day. And the final one, I've got to go with the Red Rocker, Sammy Hagar, VOA. This album, I owned it on cassette, got the CD. I've never heard it on LP, and I cannot wait to spin this one. All right, Kim, what you got next for your next 5? So that's total of 10. We got 40 more to go. We got, she's off camera, as you can tell.
Yes, I'm off camera getting my albums. Okay.
I just put mine right here.
Oh, yeah. All right, this next one is Amy Grant, My Father's Eyes. She is an artist that I really like her style of singing, so I can't wait to give that one a spin. The next one is Kenny G's Dual Tones.
Duo Tones.
And I just like his saxophone playing. I just like the music. Now, this next one is another one that I grew up on. Also watched the movie Coal Miner's Daughter. I have
Starring Sissy Spacek.
I have never heard it on vinyl. I cannot wait. This next one is one of my favorite movies.
Real quick, before we go on to your next one. Coal Miner's Daughter. Who's Sissy Spacek portraying?
She's portraying Loretta Lynn.
Right. And also, I believe Tommy Lee Jones is in that movie.
I think so.
He plays as eventually her husband.
Yes, he plays Dudley Doolittle, I believe.
Dudley Doolittle. Only in the South can. I'm just joking. All right. Anyways,
this next one is one of my favorite movies. Never heard the soundtrack on record at all. Can't wait to hear it.
What's it called?
Flashdance.
Oh, what a feeling.
The next one is The Best of the Kingston Trio Volume 2. That's another group that I grew up on and wanted to re-listen to some of their hits.
All right. My next 5, we're going to start off with Spirit of 76, Paul Revere, and the Raiders. And I'm not sure, does it say? Nope, it doesn't. See, some of them say featuring Mark Lindsay, but anyways, a buddy of mine, kid I got to know back in high school, great drummer, Chris Calhoun, he got me turned on to Paul Revere and the Raiders, actually with their, I think it was Indian Reservation or something like that. I think that was the name of the song. Anyways, I do like Paul Revere and the Raiders, and I can't wait to give this one a spin. Another one, this is actually from the 80s, I actually owned this on cassette, never had that record, found it last year, part of, actually bought his first and second one on LP, but is the son of John Lennon, but Julian Lennon Bullet. This is an album has, real quick, just Too Late. Oh, is it Too Late for Goodbyes? Yeah, Too Late for Goodbyes. But I've heard this on cassette. I think I actually own the CD, or I bought the iTunes version. Anyways, I can't wait to give the record a listen. Next one, another great artist from the 80s. John Cougar Mellencamp's Scarecrow album. Can't wait. Had this on cassette. Also had it on CD. Never heard it on LP or vinyl. Another great artist from the 70s. And this one is actually 1979 recording, but Foreigner Head Games. Can't wait to give this one a listen. And then from 1980, in the 80s, something kind of happened where a bunch of artists got together with Quincy Jones and a bunch. Anyways, I own this on cassette when it originally came out. Never heard it on record or LP or vinyl. I don't even have a copy of it on CD. But it is the We Are the World, USA for Africa, the whole Kit and Caboodle soundtrack or compilation album where you've got the title track and then a bunch of other songs. Can't wait to listen to this one on LP. So that should be a total of 20.
20 from both of us,
okay,
yes.
What's next? You got 5 more to go.
All right.
Yeah, she's got more than 5, but...
Yeah.
All right, what you got?
All right, so the first one I got is another movie soundtrack.
You know, honestly, I'm going to tell you guys right now, most of these 50 albums, when they get spun, we're listening to them together.
Yes, we are.
Because there's a few of these that, even though they're like double artists, some of them are going to be, a few of them will be double artists from us. There's some of them where I want to hear them too on LP or vinyl.
This is a soundtrack to Kenny Rogers' The Gambler.
I don't even really think it's a soundtrack. I believe it's just he released it as The Gambler because remember, I think The Gambler TV show didn't come out until the 80s.
Okay.
And this was released, I believe, in the 70s.
Anyway, it's The Gambler record by Kenny Rogers, and I just can't wait to hear it. The next one is another group that I was introduced to by my mom, Peter, Paul, and Mary, and it's called A Song Will Rise. And I do want to listen to it again, just because I like that group. Now, this one is another one of my favorite movies. It's the Jewel of the Nile soundtrack. I like the movie, just want to hear the soundtrack now because I've never...
If the going gets tough, get going. Sorry, that's the song there.
This next one is Tanya Tucker. The album is called
Love Me Like You Used to.
And I have not heard this one on vinyl. I want to hear it. I cannot wait to hear it.
I believe it came out like 87 or something like that.
And the next one is Stacy Q. Better
Than Heaven.
Better Than Heaven. And it's got a favorite song of mine on it that I did not know that she sang. But I can't wait to hear it.
What's the song? Two of Hearts.
Two of Hearts, yes.
All right, there's your next 5. All right. My next 5, I don't know where we're at, so it doesn't matter. We're once we get done with these, it'll be 30. All right, well, we'll start off right off the bat with a little bit of movie soundtrack. Dolly Parton, Burt Reynolds' Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. I've heard this on CD. I've seen the movie on HBO. I've seen the movie on, gotta remember, VHS. Seen the movie on DVD. And currently own it on Blu-ray. And currently own the album on CD. Never heard it on vinyl. And I cannot wait to give this one a spin. Again, another album from, or another artist from last year I did an episode on. This is before Kim joined us and started participating. Last year it was just me solo, which kind of sucked. No, just joking. Anyways, last year I did a band called Autograph. This is their second LP called That's the Stuff. Can't wait to give this one a listen. Got one of my favorite songs on here, Blondes in Black Cars. Those of you that do listen to the podcast know probably a couple months ago, I found this over at our local Goodwill, and that is Iron Butterflies Inagata Davida. I cannot wait to give this one a listen. One, because it came out way before right when I was born, but right around that era, but I never listened to it. Another one that my family had on 8-track back in the day. Man, 8-track.
I know. It's hard to
8-track was okay on some things, but some songs, it would like play the first minute into it, they would fade out, change the channel, fade back in. Or it'd play all the way to the last 2 minutes of the song, fade out, change the channel, fade back in, finish the song, then you go to the next song. That's what I hate about 8-track.
Yeah.
Anyways, this one here is, the album's called We Must Believe in Magic. Krista Gale. The big hit off of this is Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Turn Blue. Cannot wait to listen to that on LP. Now, those of you that have watched recent videos will know we just barely picked this one up at Goodwill a week ago, roughly on the 20th, and that is Chariots of Fire, the soundtrack. I cannot wait to give that one a spin. Well, I got 10 left.
I do too.
So that means we've got 20 left. So we're at 30.
We're at 30.
We're over halfway.
Okay. So, the first one is another group that was in my family that I really like. It's Alabama's Greatest Hits. I have heard this on CD. I've heard some of the hits on the radio, never on record, though. I cannot wait. The next one is another...
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead, and then I want to say something about this. I want to sidebar a little bit on this one, okay?
Okay. The next one is Debbie Boone's You Light Up My Life, and I really enjoy her singing. I cannot wait to listen to it.
Now, the cool part about this song here is I've actually heard You Light Up My Life on a 45 back in the day, because I had a girlfriend who actually had the 45. We listened to it, we spun it, and I've actually heard it on LP, or at least on a 45. I've not heard the whole LP, but I've at least heard it.
This next one, yes, you will find out why he's growling here in a minute. This next one is another movie soundtrack, Eddie and the Cruisers.
Yeah, I can't even get a hold of it right.
It's a movie I haven't seen or a soundtrack I've not heard. I cannot wait to hear it for the first time.
Now, just so you know, when it came out, obviously the movie came out, I didn't know anything about it in theaters. I'm sidebarring again. But it came out on HBO. I remember watching it as a kid, loved it, loved the songs on it, found the cassette tape, and so I owned it on cassette. Then, as CDs became popular, I found it on CD. Never have I ever heard this on LP either, so I cannot wait to listen to this one myself on LP. But those of you that do know about Alien Cruisers, at least the soundtrack, it is pretty much all the songs on here performed by John Captain, the Beaver Brown band, except for maybe a couple.
Okay. This next one is Glenn Campbell's Galveston, and that's another recent find we found around the 20th. And I that was another family record I grew up on. This last one is John Denver, back home again. Another artist I really like, and I want to hear him.
And if you remember, we just picked that one up last week at Goodwill.
Yep.
All right, next set of 5 records for me. This one here, I really can't wait to listen to. Charlie Daniels Band, Full Moon. There's a song, track 1 on here. I cannot wait to listen, especially on LP. Those of you that actually just watch the videos know that just yesterday I just received this in the mail, and that we just received this, and that's Richie Valens. It had to be added. It had to be added to the 50 album challenge. Never heard it, want to hear it. I've heard a few of his songs by him, but mainly the La Bamba soundtrack's the only one I heard. So I've only heard these songs by Los Lobos. Cannot wait to hear them by the actual artist. Okay, the next one, again, got it at the same time as that last one, was Richie Valens, is Who's Next. Can't wait to give that one a spin. Now this next one I grew up on. My folks had the 8-track. I eventually found it on cassette. Eventually found it on CD.
Yes.
Then we bought the 2015 version of the record about 3 years ago.
Yes, we did.
3 years ago. Gave it a spin when we got it, but this is the actual ABC recording or label pressing of Jim Croce, Photographs and Memories, his greatest hits. This was released after his death, and I cannot wait to give this one a spin. And then those of you that do pay attention or have been with us for a while do know this, probably about a month ago, received this one on LP. I think, matter of fact, this is actually probably not even a month ago yet. I think this is part of one of our last unboxing videos, isn't it?
It is.
I think it was on an unboxing video. I don't remember.
It was. You unboxed that one.
Anyways, the Make a Difference Foundation, Stairway to Heaven, Highway to Hell. Cannot wait. I've heard this on CD. Cannot wait to listen to this on LP. This is an original pressing. It came out in 1989. I didn't even pay attention that it came out on an LP, but then again in 89 I was not buying LPs because I didn't have a record player. All right, what you got left? We're
Just
down to,
have five more.
last 10 to go then for both of us total.
Yes.
All right, what we got here?
Okay, the first one is
This is a newer album.
Yes, this is a newer album. It's Pistol Annie's, and it is
Interstate Gospel.
Interstate Gospel. Now, I have heard this on Spotify. I cannot wait to hear it on record. Next one is the Oak Ridge Boys Greatest Hits 2, another group that I was introduced to by my family. Can't wait to hear it. The next one is Just a Little Love, Reba McEntire. Love her singing style. Can't wait to hear.
This is one of her older MCs. This is like before. This is before her 16 or Sweet 16 album. This is matter of fact, let me find a year real quick. This is 1984, so this is before Sweet 16, Kathy's Clown. This is before Fancy. This is before Reba really became big.
Yes, I can't wait to hear it.
The superstar she is today.
The next one is Michael Jackson's Thriller.
This is a re-release.
It is a re-release. I cannot wait to hear that one. It's got a couple of my favorite songs.
Real quick,
on it.
sidebar, real quick. The reason why we have so we bought that first,
which is the picture disc.
Spun it. Of course, y'all know what picture discs. If you don't know, picture discs suck. They're pretty much decorations. So I promised her we're gonna still try to find the original '83 release of it, but I did buy her at least one repress so we can at least listen to it.
Now this next one's Cry Pretty, Carrie Underwood.
That's her latest album.
Yep, that's the latest album by Carrie Underwood. Can't wait to listen to it. It'll be the first time I've listened to that one.
Okay. That's your 25.
That's my 25, yes.
All right, well, let's get my last 5 and let's finish this 50 album challenge here. This one here I've heard on cassette and I've heard it on CD. I originally heard it on cassette when it came out in the 80s, and that is Ricky Van Shelton's Wild Eyed Dream. Can't wait to give this a spin on LP or on the record player. Next one had this on CD only, and that is Tracy Chapman, self-titled. Right?
It's a self-titled one, and that was
the only reason why I question, because every time I look at the album cover, I automatically think Fast Cars, because that's a song on here, and that was one of the nice songs. But I really want to give this a respin, or give this album a spin for the first time, but a chance to listen to it again as an older person. And I'm sure I remember a few other songs on here I like. I couldn't remember which ones, but I know I do like Tracy Chapman, so I cannot wait to listen to this one on LP. Man, we're kind of going country again. But we're going to go with Sawyer Brown's Shakin'. Cannot wait to give this one a spin. There's some good songs on that one. I've only heard that on cassette. I've heard some of the songs as the greatest hits on CD, but as for that album itself, I've only heard it on cassette. And now this next one, I have an original copy over there, which is Screwed Up Young Child Destroyed Albums, because no one really forced me to be nice to albums. Anyways, my uncle, I believe if I remember right, my uncle got me this for when I was younger. Anyways, it's Bachman Turner Overdrive's first album, and we found one of our lots that we bought. We did get a newer copy, a clean copy, so I can't wait to give that one a spin. And last but not least, what kind of 25, 50 album challenge would it be if I didn't go old school and pull out Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil? Released in 1983. This part is still the pentagram is still glossy. This is one of the original pressings. Just real quick. It's even got the pentagram, lyric sheet, and the original Sing Club order form still in it. Now, the cool part is, if you've seen Shout the Devil, especially on CD and cassette, you've seen the 4 pictures. Well, inside the gatefold is the 4 pictures. Those are the same ones they used for the album cover after they got rid of the pentagram. Anyways, cannot wait to give that a spin. I've actually never listened to it on LP. For the longest time, I haven't had that LP. Never listened to it. That LP has been beat up. It was beat up. But the LP itself is in good shape. Anyway, so that's our 50 album challenge.
And as you can see, it's a good mix of music for the two of us.
Well, yeah, I mean, and like I said, as you can see, we both each pulled the Kenny Rogers album. But I mean, we got albums back here. There's just certain albums like the one I picked. I want to hear it because I love that song. I remember that movie. She pulled the Gambler. I mean, I could have easily pulled the Gambler. I mean, honestly, I could have pulled all of Kenny Rogers over there. Kenny Rogers in the first edition, all the way through all the albums we have of his. Just listen to them all. But that's not what this is about. These albums here, I mean, yeah, Shout the Devil. When's the last time I actually listened to it? Well, probably a year and a half ago, or maybe within the last year.
But that wasn't on vinyl. Though.
No, it was on iTunes.
Yeah, you were streaming.
It wasn't even on CD. It was straight up, streaming.
Yeah.
So I mean, here we're gonna listen to the original copy, the original pressing, the original way it was released. One of the original. I mean, it was released on vinyl and cassette back in the day, so I get to hear it. I've heard it originally on cassette, had it on cassette, and now finally get to hear it on vinyl. Anyways, so that's our 50 album challenge. We again want to thank Frank at channel 33 RPM. Go check him out. Down in the description, I will put
a link to his
channel. I wish I knew how to do the links over here, but we're still new at this YouTube business, YouTube stuff. Anyways, that's our 50 album challenge. Those of you who are listening, watching this, we challenge you. Just rediscover your music. Even if you got nothing, even if everything's on iTunes, and you've got 50 out, you got more than 50 albums on there. Don't go with your go-tos. I mean, I know I went with Shout the Devil, okay, but it's a little bit different because that is LP versus. Plus, it's also going to be an episode of the podcast, and there's a couple where they are going to be episodes of the podcast. But when it comes down to it, a lot of these were pulled because one, either I haven't heard them in a long time, or I have never heard them. A lot of these albums over here, we have not heard.
No,
I mean,
we haven't.
Jim Croce, yes, is Jim Croce a really go-to for me sometimes?
Yeah, but it's not.
Again, it's a CD or what the heck? Even a CD I haven't listened to probably 10 years.
Yeah.
It's all on iTunes.
Yeah.
Everything's now in it, and with iTunes now they digital download everything.
Yes, they do.
Everything's like iTunes special digital download. So, anyways, that's what we're gonna do. That's our 50 album challenge. When that was done, we'll probably do a 50 album CD challenge. And then maybe we'll even go and do
a 50 album cassette challenge.
Or we'll go back and do another 50 album vinyl challenge.
Yes.
But if we do, we'll make another video about that. Whichever ones we do. Because CDs will be a little bit harder because of the fact that they're still in books.
Yes.
So we'll probably just pull the little the mini album jacket.
Yes.
That's the only thing I loved about CDs is most of the time they look just like the album jackets.
Yeah, they did.
They were just a smaller version of the album jacket versus cassettes where they were cut.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, that is it. That is all for Used and Abused. Again, we want to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Click that little bell icon so you will be notified anytime we put up a new video. Also, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, as always, Used and Abused can be found on
various platforms,
podcast apps, and directories, which include Anchor,
Google,
iTunes,
Breaker,
Radio Public, Pocket Cast,
Spotify,
and TuneIn.
Yeah,
there's a few of them. Again, subscribe. Like Used and Abused, even on the podcast. Give us a rating if you want to talk. Leave a description down, or leave a message down below, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Again, we want to thank Frank at channel 33 RPM. Go check them out. I'm getting used to where the camera's right there, so I'm getting used to where the heck it's at. I'm looking at myself, it's all new to us. We're doing this. We're learning this. Anyways, check out Frank at channel 33 RPM here on YouTube. Again, look down below. I'll put the link down there for his channel. And we want to thank Frank because you know what? Rediscovering your music is going to be awesome. One, as a music podcast, it really does help. As far as our music podcast goes, we'll kind of just give a quick overview of it. One, we don't sit here and go, well, this album is 3 stars out of 5. We don't do crap like that. Pretty much what we do is I will tell you what I hear when I'm listening. I'll tell you like what I hear from the guitars. If I hear a distorted guitar, a clean guitar, I'll let you know, kind of the guitar solos where they're at, and vice versa with the drums, the bass, and all of them kind of doing, and whether, neat sounds I hear in these albums. Kim will...
I do the lyrics, so I listen to the lyrics and pull from the lyrics what I think the song is about.
In her opinion.
In my opinion.
Everyone's opinion is different. Everybody hears something different in these songs. In all songs. But, that's what we do. We got a nice little following. We want to thank everybody that does follow us. But other than that, you know what? It's time to get out of here. So, have a great weekend.
And a great work week.
Be kind to everyone.
And
keep the music playing. Peace.